Episode 5 of the MEE-FIT Podcast. And I'm here today with Dale.
Hello.
Who very, very kindly said he would come and share a little bit of information about his time with us so far and the fantastic results he's achieved in his... How long have you been here now?
Just under a year.
Just under a year?
It's literally about a week off a year now.
Okay, cool. 1 year anniversary upcoming.
It is.
So yeah, we just thought it'd be cool, mate, to kind of just have a little bit of a chat about kind of where you were at before MEE-FIT, like what was going on from a health and fitness perspective, about your time here, why and how you've been so successful, and then possibly what the future holds.
You all know the story at MEE-FIT, but basically, I hit 50, massively overweight, you settle into your lifestyle, and I spend a lot of time driving, which isn't particularly healthy, just driving around 8-9 hours a day, stopping at McDonald's, Chippies, getting fatter and fatter, doing less and less exercise. And it kind of creeps up on you a lot and you don't really notice because you've got commitments, you've got mortgages to pay, bills, you've got the kids to look after and all of that other stuff that you just have to get on with. So you don't notice that your health is declining quite quickly. And then sort of you'll have this sort of epiphany type moment where you see yourself and you think like, oh my God, is that me?
And you had that moment specifically, didn't you?
It was specifically, yeah. So with some friends staying in North Wales, and we did the Irish Sea sort of New Year's Day swim for the lifeboats and that, and somebody took a video of me coming out of the ocean. I honestly just didn't recognise myself. It was like just so fat, so unfit. I knew I was getting unfit because, walking up and down stairs, you're puffing and panting. I have to carry toolboxes and they're getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not putting more stuff in there. I'm just getting weak. But you just think, oh, this is just normal. I'm just getting older and,
Do you think that's what you viewed though? You thought to yourself, like, this is just part of getting older. It's just an inevitable reality. Is that how your mindset was?
Yeah, you just think like, well, this is what it is now. I just have to sort of carry on as best as. I've got this to do, that to do, the other to do. This is just me sort of, going on. I can't chase, the kids getting a bit older, so you can't chase the kids around so much as you used to be able to. And you just think, this is just sort of, the crest of the hill's gone and you're now on the downward slope.
Yeah. Which I think is a mindset a lot of people have, isn't it? Like just think this is just now the way it is. I'm getting older. Things are going to get harder. I'm going to gain weight. I'm going to get less fit. I'm going to get weaker. But you've kind of showcased that that's not necessarily how things have to go.
You don't have to. When you have a moment where you just sort of think, and you got like midlife crisis and all this. A lot of people sort of saying, is or is it somebody said the other day, you're just reliving your childhood. You're playing rounders with you guys every week, going running, doing this, doing that, survival weekend that we got coming up a couple of weeks' time. Yeah. And it's like, you're just reliving your childhood. It's like, what's wrong with that? I was fit and I was healthy in my childhood. I wasn't sort of gasping for breath walking up the stairs when I was 16, 17. It wasn't a problem. But so you sort of after that and you sort of look around, you think like, well, what can I do? The options aren't sort of immediately sort of in front of you. So you're looking around, all right, you can do stuff yourself. Like you stop going to McDonald's every day for lunch, stop eating chippy and all of that. And that helps a little bit. You drop a little bit of weight. But you need to start exercising, and you literally don't realise just how little you do during the day. I thought, moving furniture around, which is what I do, sort of, doing the repairs and stuff like that. You'd think you'd be quite sort of fit, but I'm probably doing that for like 20 minutes in a day and then 8 hours driving, so you're not that fit. Yeah.
And there's a big difference, isn't there, between sort of physical activity from a work perspective, like physical labour, and structured exercise. Absolutely. I'm sure you've seen the difference in that.
Absolutely. So you start looking around and you start thinking like, well, what can I do and can I fit this in? Can I afford it? What options are there? And went on the websites, gyms and spas and do all of that. Put my details in to yours, and you very kindly phoned me back and sort of said, are you interested? Well, I just had a conversation with a customer, an older lady who was really, really nice. She's absolutely brilliant. And I was sort of saying like, I'm a bit sort of, so I do talk a lot. I'm a bit sort of at a crossroads. I don't really know where to go. So, the kids don't need me so much anymore. I've got a daughter, she was 15 back then. She's off with her friends and boyfriends and this, that, the other. And I'm not really needed to be there 24/7 for her. Work's kind of calmed down a little bit. I'm not out to make millions I am where I am, and that's sort of kind of it. So I've got plenty of sort of spare time. I just need to find something to do where I'm not just sort of sat around the house staring at a TV, munching on crisps. And she said, she's like, you need to find something that you enjoy and just go for it. And then literally half an hour later, you phoned.
Nice.
And
it was written in the stars.
It was, yeah. It's actually was one of those moments you just think, yeah, this is obviously what I'm supposed to be doing here. Yeah. And we had a little chat, and you said, oh, you know, we do sort of an induction day, I think you called it. This was on Friday, wasn't it? And you said, we do the induction days on a Saturday. And you were obviously thinking like a few weeks' time. And I said, yeah, okay, what about tomorrow? And you're like, well, okay. And yeah, seriously, never look back.
Nice.
Honestly, absolutely brilliant.
So just before we delve too much into that, dude, just to set that timeline a little bit more. So you saw that picture, the picture you mentioned coming out of the scene. I'm presuming that was New Year's Eve of 2022, heading into 2023.
That's it, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And then sort of a few months just sort of wandering around lost, sort of trying to work out what I'm going to do myself.
Did you make a decision, thinking back to when you first saw that picture, I'm presuming it was early January, did you kind of think to yourself then, like, right, I need to do something about this?
Yeah.
But why did it take you maybe 3 or 4 months to actually do something then?
Just didn't really know what to do.
Okay.
Literally, it was, you know, obviously, you know, the obvious ones are there, you know, stop eating sort of junk as I'm driving around. Tried a little bit of walking and running. There's these badges that you can collect, the Conqueror badges. I signed up for one of those where you get a medal if you walk so many kilometres. Did one of those. But the motivation's just not, you know, you've got to physically get up on your own, go for a walk, and there's just no sort of pleasure in it and no sort of drive there, just aimlessly sort of walking around. Or I bought a bike and go cycling, but again, you're on your own sort of cycling around, not really sure how, where or when you're doing, or if you're doing it right, or if it's benefiting you. It did work a little bit, lost a little bit of weight, and you know, things started improving, but it wasn't, you know, amazing or sort of spectacular. And the sort of the sort of willpower was there that I've got to do it, but I don't really know what to do. I'm sort of guessing, and I needed something else and sort of more, they say, more structured to sort of get in there, book your times, and turn up each time. And then you're doing it, and there's a big difference between sort of trying to do it on your own and having a structured format where you can just go with really knowledgeable people and say, look, you know, this is what you need to do if you want to achieve this. And it's like anything, you know, you have to sort of learn and sort of, you know, be taught by people how to achieve your goals. You can't just like decide I'm going to do that today and just do it off your own back. You need someone to teach you how to do it, which is what you guys have done brilliantly.
Excellent. So you came in on the Saturday morning, did your onboarding session then. If I remember rightly, at that time we were doing them in like small group settings. That was what you did. And then presuming then after that, obviously you got stuck into your training probably the following week.
Yeah, it was literally the following week.
What was your first impressions of MEE-FIT? Like, how did you, what were you expecting to find? What did you find? Like, how did you find that initial kind of couple of weeks?
It's honestly, never set foot in the gym before in my life. Never. I was a little bit nervous about different things. You know, you see lots of YouTube videos and stuff like, you know, TikTok and this, that, the other, about sort of, you know, the bad gym culture and all the rest of it. And, you know, old blokes getting called creeps because there's young women walking around in their ties and all that. And you know, you don't want to be sort of in that kind of. But first week you come in and it's like, everyone's just like me. This is great. Everyone's just pulling together. It is a team, you know.
When you say like you, what do you mean by that?
Older and just trying to improve themselves. So, you know, obviously we've got vast sort of age differences. You know, you've got younger ones, middle-aged people, sort of predominantly middle-aged people, and obviously quite older ones as well, male, female, and none of that matters. You're all just here doing the same thing, trying to get fitter and trying to improve your own lives. And it doesn't, you know, it doesn't just stop at the gym as well. You've got, you know, you're making these friends as well with people who are supportive and really great people, and they help sort of encourage you, not just in the gym, but in your outside life as well. You know, everything sort of lifts that step up when you're sort of meeting new people who actually sort of care, and they sort of want, this is good, this is good. So it's a nice place to be. It's a good environment. And the first week, it is shell shock. It really is, you know. And you do sort of, you know, you have a minute, you stop, and you look around, you think, like, what am I doing? I have no idea what any of these moves are. They've got boards with these various sort of exercises that are a foreign language to me completely. And I've always had sort of the misconception, it's possibly true many years ago, that I was relatively strong. And then, you know, there's people a lot older than me or bigger than me, and girls as well, lifting and doing weights far more than I'm just like, wow, I really am in really, really poor condition. It's a shockingly bad condition. And it is sort of like, it reaffirms that sort of thought that, yeah, you do need to do something because you're not in a good place, you know. You really are sort of suffering. You're massively overweight. Your lung capacity's down. I was constantly out of breath when I first joined. It was like every time just gasping for breath because you can't move. You're just so full of sort of fat and all the sort of, you know, the things that the in-body shows you. But yeah, and you're moving through, and it's every week you're getting better and better and better and improving more and more and more. Yeah, you jump ahead a year. Like last week we went for a run.
Yep.
I'm not a runner. I haven't been doing running for very long. I've been doing sort of more strength work in the gym. But a couple of the people in the gym said, you know, come running with us, and we've signed up for a few things that we want to do, events that require running. And I thought, well, yeah, I used to run at school. I used to quite happily run 15 miles or whatever, you know. So we started doing the couch to 5K and been plodding along with that for about 3 or 4 weeks. And then you've started the little run club on Sunday, which was absolutely awesome. Really nice bunch of guys. We're out. And he said, yeah, we're doing 8K today. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I was like, really?
Well, I saw the group was a good group, so I thought, come on, let's do this. Let's get it off with a bang. You did well, though.
I mean, I had to stop a couple of times because I don't really do running that much. But the sense of feeling is like, yeah, you know what, I've just gone 8K. All right, yeah, I stopped when it was going uphill because bad calves because my ligaments are short because I'm spending like stupid amount of times in the van driving where my legs like that instead of like that. But it's each time you do it, you're going to get better and better and better. And my running has massively improved just over the last month. Yeah. Just, again, same principles that with all the rest of the gym work. Consistent, 2-3 times a week, gradually build up, and you get better and better and better really quickly, really, really quickly. It's just, it is life-changing. You can't sort of stress that enough to people. It is life-changing.
So how soon after you made a start with us, how soon was it until you felt to yourself sort of like, yeah, this is the place for me, this is now what I want to do, you know, longer term?
Oh, week 1.
Okay. Straight away.
Literally, straight away. Yeah. As soon as you meet the people and you see, you know, and you hear what they've done, then you're like, yeah, this is what I need to do. It's a nice group, it's friendly. There's none of the sort of, you know, you see all that stuff about sort of gyms. There's none of that. You're just straight in with really nice people.
So those types of things, I think when you did your testimony, you mentioned it, like the mirrors, guys posing in the mirrors.
There's just none of that.
You know, all the negative connotations that people think of when they think of a gym. You sort of found that wasn't.
Yeah, it's not the case at all. No, you just come in with a really great group of people who all just want to push each other on and improve their own health and lifestyles. So sort of first week and you meet people and you think like, yeah, you know, this is great. I can easily do this 2-3 times a week, no problem. Gets me out of the house, gets me out the wife's way, gets me out the daughter's way, and I'm happy doing, you know. And it is nice to sort of go somewhere where you can just turn your brain off for a little bit. There's what you need to do. You got the instructor saying like, this is how we do this is how we do that, because obviously you haven't got a clue what all that stuff on the board means at first. And you can just do it, not think, forget about the stresses, you know, everything that's gone on during the day, people screaming and shouting at you and, you know, driving around in hectic cities and all the rest of it. Stops at the door there, you tootle in, everybody's happy, everybody's just on the mindset, yeah, this is where we're going. And it's just so much better, you know, mental health is, you know, something obviously you've been talking about lately. Yeah. It is not just physical health, it is your mental health as well. When you've got that place that you can, safe place, I hate that word, but it's, you know, it's a place you can go, you can talk to people who are doing the same thing in the same situation and sort of build up a rapport. And you think like, yeah, I'm not alone. Everyone's, you know, in the same sort of boat, going the same way. And it just helps just have that spot where you can go like an hour a day or an hour every couple of days to yourself, and then just sort of, you know, reset, have a good workout, get all your frustrations out on the barbells or whatever, and then go home and you're a happier person. Yeah.
Have you noticed the difference in that, in sort of mood and, you know, those types of things?
Absolutely. My daughter, before I joined MEE-FIT, I was even sort of, you know, 15-year-old girls aren't really that noticeable of the world around them. But when even she's like, you know, Dad, we know you're not happy. Before I joined MEE-FIT.
Right, okay.
You know, and you think like, yeah, that's a problem. If she knows, which, you know, you don't try and show you is that you're not having a good time. I mean, she realises that, then there's obviously something not right.
Yeah. And why do you feel being here has helped with that so much? Like, what's your thoughts on that as to why that's been the case?
It's a little bit sort of being able to connect with people in the same drives and the same sort of goals that you want to.
Okay.
Being part of a community that's supportive rather than a lot of sort of, people sort of you talk to that can be quite negative about
you've
stuff.
said you've had that experience recently, yeah.
They can be quite negative about stuff and this, that, the other. And it's just nice to be in a place where there is no real, everyone has off days, but there is no real negativity.
Yeah.
And it's just helpful. And you get to turn off, forget about the worries and come in. And it's just good for your soul.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. You can just, work on your health, chat to some really nice people. The trainers are all great. We have lots of social events as well. I mean, the rounders at the summer hangout the other day.
Have you seen Emily since then?
Yeah.
Has she coached you since then or not?
No.
She's saving it.
I'm still alive.
She did mention it the other day. So,
did she?
Yeah. So just for any context for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, so we host a summer event. We called it a summer hangout this year, the local rugby club, and we had a game of rounders. And Emily, one of our coaches, was bowling, and Dale hit the ball very hard, and it hit Emily straight in the leg. So yeah, there was just a lot of banter around that, wasn't there? Thankfully, you were away. No, Em was away.
Em was away,
Yeah.
Which made it worse. Because I was like, she's going on holiday. She's going with a massive bruise on her
Gonna
leg.
mull it over for a week.
Yeah. I sent her a message and said, if I was a good enough aim, I would have aimed at anybody but you. Anybody at all.
I'm sure she's forgiven you, really, Dale.
Yeah, we're out in the woods in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
That's a survival weekend. I might not make it back from there.
You'll be for dinner that evening. Less about cannibalism. Back on topic. So, you've been here nearly 12 months.
Yeah.
What's obviously we spoke a lot about the positive outcomes you've had in a lot of great ways, but what's funny is like the thing that brings people to the gym, all those benefits are usually less, not always, but less prevalent. Very often it's more the body shape and those types of changes, which, to be honest, it fills us with more joy and more pride when we hear people talking about things like their happiness and their mental health and their energy levels and how their kids are noticing that they're happy and all those things. But what's been from a body comp, weight loss perspective and all of that side of things, what's happened over the last 12 months?
Obviously, I have lost, well, not obviously, 'cause you can't see me, but I have lost a serious amount of weight. Well, I think it's quite a lot of weight. I was probably about, 18 stone at that sort of when I came out to see sort of thing.
Yeah.
I lost a little bit between then and joining here. I think I was about 115, 116 kilos on my first sort of weigh-in, something around there.
Yeah.
And my visceral fat, which I didn't know what that was, is all the fat that's like bunging up all of your intestines and your heart and internal stuff that's going to give you a stroke, going to give you heart attacks and all of that stuff. It's just dropped massively down. So I'm down to about 95 kilos now. Yeah. Visceral fat down to about 9, which is pretty much on target as far as I'm sort of aware.
Yeah.
Muscle density's going up. That's like 41%. Body fat down to about 20%. Yeah. It was the other way around, I'm sure, when I started. It was like, muscle mass was 20% and body fat was 40%.
Yeah. So you're about 20 kilo down, basically. Yeah. And like I said, you've built muscle tissue along the way, haven't you? So you've probably lost more body fat than the 20 kilo because increasing muscle mass is going to hide some of that. And then, like you said, the percentage body fat's down by, what was it?
It was about 15% body fat's gone down. Yeah, it's quite a lot. And as you say, it's like, without sort of the scales and all that, it's obviously not everybody looks at the scales all the time. I never used to look at scales. It's the body shape, and the body shape just does change dramatically. Yeah, it is sort of quite scary that clothes fit you, and actually you can wear them and sort of, not have to wear pashmeens and stuff like that just to hide sort of the gut sticking out and all the rest of it. There is the downside, obviously, you have to keep buying new clothes, but it's not always bad. But yeah, your body shape does change massively. Even if the weight doesn't, your body shape will, because you're replacing fat with muscle. Yeah. And it's being built in the right way. Not instant. You lose. I lost 2 stone in the first couple of months when I first joined. And just literally, I think that's on the back of the day one conversation with you, stop doing this and this. And the weight just literally...
What were those things then? Some people who are watching might think to themselves, okay, I'd love to achieve similar results to that. Like what has been the approach that you've gone with from a nutritional perspective and also training. Just run us through what your typical weekly routines look like, nutrition and training.
Post, I mean, I used to drink loads and loads of Starbucks cappuccinos during the day, driving around, you grab a Starbucks cappuccinos, full sugar Coke. It's absolutely repugnant to me now. But again, 3 or 4 cans of those a day. And sort of when I first sort of spoke to yourself about joining, and you see, those are really sort of bad. Those are horrifically bad for you. Stop those. And first sort of diet wise, obviously, you don't just go like 100% dead into completely changing your diet. It's little steps all the way along. Just cut those out, and that was sort of the main thing when I first started that got dropped. And just those alone was basically, and obviously working out in the gym 2-3 times a week, 2 stone gone straight away. Just being aware.
From our end with that, I remember that initial conversation, and I think we kind of estimated that you were probably consuming around about 1,000 calories of just sort of liquid.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola.
That's it. Cappuccinos
and stuff. It was probably 1,000 calories a day on a work day, maybe more. So it's quite easy to see when you think if you cut that out, why the weight loss started to happen so quickly, because you were cutting out, what was that, maybe 5,000 calories a week of just sugary drinks.
Phenomenal amount.
Yeah.
It was.
You can see why the weight just started to really drop off really quickly.
It was that was sort of like initial sort of day one. That was a big sort of thing. And I am sort of I know you don't sort of agree with it sometimes, but I am sort of like yes or no, not the grey area. So you'll like gradually reduce. I'm either doing it or I'm not doing it. I'm just like, no, there's the line. I'm not doing it from this point on. I haven't. Still don't drink cappuccinos or anything like that. And
just to provide a bit of context on that, we would always say to people, look, sometimes going completely cold turkey can backfire, because if it's something that you really enjoy and you're then sort of missing it and really feel, what's the word, sort of
craving
it, restricting yourself of it, you're going to crave it, you're then going to maybe binge out on it and things like that. With those drinks, you've managed not to do that. You've just cut them out of your lifestyle, and that's fine. I suppose the things that we talk about that more is like people thinking, oh, I'm never going to have a takeaway again, or I'm never going to have chocolate again, or I'm never, and you're thinking realistically, you're never going to eat chocolate again for the rest of your life. Probably not. And if you just cut it out forever, you're going to then binge on it because you know what I mean? So that's why we sort of encourage people not to always cut things out completely, but just to, reduce that quantity down. So it's the same with a cappuccino. There's nothing wrong with a cappuccino every now and then, or a sugary soft drink every now and then, but I just wouldn't drink like 5 cans a day, that's the thing. But anyway, carry on, mate.
But yeah, and that's with those, that's what it was. It was just like literally just stop them. Yeah. We went to the theatre, needed a drink. They'd only got full sugar Coke. This is something like a month or so ago. And so I'd not had one for a long time. And I opened it, and just the smell of it was repugnant. I was just like, I can't even, no, I'll go to the bathroom and get water or something. Yeah, can't even go near it at all now. It's a bit of a bonus. But I mean, that's one side of it. I mean, that's an instant quick fix for me. That was very instant quick fix. Diet-wise, and that we did things like the empowerment course, which was really good. And again, that was very nutrition and sort of helping yourself change small habits. And that's really what you need to do. Just change small habits. It's great dropping out those big sugary drinks and all the rest of it. That's a big thing to do. But if you just change small habits, so little things here and there to break the cycle, and you don't really notice those small habits just being changed. And Claire's one of the coaches, really, really good at sort of advising you. So, do this instead of doing that. Or if you're feeling like this, just do that. And then that sort of breaks down the habits. So, with the food and the diets and, and being taught properly about what is good, like ultra processed foods and how bad they are for you and all the chemicals in there. And then, we did a lot of sort of meal prepping and things like that during that program. And you learn it's actually not that difficult just to prep decent, healthy food that's going to benefit your body, give you the nutrients you need, give you the protein that you need, rather than all the sort of, the ready-made stuff that you chuck it in the microwave or wherever. And like you say, still go to the chip shop now and again, still have takeaways.
Get recognised in there.
Yeah, get recognised in the chip shop. You're the guy from the gym. No. And you can still do all that stuff, but there's it's about sort of just being consistent and just being a little bit mindful. You don't have to count every single calorie every single day. You're just aware of what's actually going in and how much sort of, exercise is going out. 'Cause, if it goes in, then you've got to either expand or you've got to exercise to work it back out. Yeah, it's one or the other. But yeah, it's just a nice sort of balance now.
What I love about that so much, mate, is very often people envisage or would expect, oh, I've lost 20 kilos in a year. Oh my God, what have you been doing? You must have been doing something crazy, or what diet have you been on? Or like, but from our perspective, there's nothing groundbreaking in any of that. You've cut out a lot of sugary drinks, cappuccinos, Coca-Colas, like we said. You've made small, healthy adjustments. You've ate a bit more protein, cut down on some of the ultra-processed food and takeaways and all. So just some really healthy habits, nothing too drastic, nothing too crazy, nothing too, nowadays there's so many things that you see on Instagram and all those things that you mentioned that's just like these crazy regimes and stuff, but all that stuff is just really simple stuff that you've been able to implement. Hasn't disrupted your life too much.
Easy, absolutely easy. And when you first sort of join a gym and you do invest yourself in it, you do have to commit. You sort of have to decide. This is something I want to do and need to do, and why wouldn't you? Unless you want to sort of be in a care home like a drooling idiot when you're 60. It's a shock for those people around you as well.
Yeah.
And you see sort of like you're off to the gym again and all the rest of it. And then after the weeks and a couple of months progress, and they see the change in your mindset, the body shape, and the attitude, and then they start. Oh, right, and waking up themselves a little bit, and then other people sort of go, well, so like, oh, right. And if you miss a day at the gym, then sort of they'll say, well, you're not going to the gym tonight. You're like, oh no, I've got this. Okay, you normally go. So, and then it's like, go. And then they start adopting your habits as well in the household. So, Nicola, my wife, she started taking more protein. I mean, she doesn't come to the gym. She tried it for a month before. She wasn't sort of exactly where she wants to be, but she takes more protein. She does exercises at home a lot more than she used to. And she sees sort of the changes that I've done, and she's adopting them herself. And people around do start doing that as well. Yeah. So it's a little bit sort of a rough ride at first, if you like, because there's obviously, there's a change there. You've got your social set, your family that expect you to be where you've been for the last X amount of years, and then you're suddenly not, and you're doing something else. And they think, what's the reason for this? What's the reason for that? What's going on? And and after the first month, that sort of calms down a little bit, and it's just like, oh, okay, we now get why he's doing it, and it is working for him, and he is much better than he was. Perhaps we should think about doing it as well,
Isn't it? I think whenever anyone makes a change, like the people around them, there's always that element of what are they doing? Why are they doing it? And in the summit we did back in April, there was quite a big conversation around that, wasn't there? And a few of the other members who were there highlighted how one of the big reasons they enjoyed working out at MEE-FIT was that community around them who were all on a similar trajectory, similar mindset. They want to look after their health and well-being. They don't want to just sit around and eat and drink, and they want to be healthy and live a healthy lifestyle. And often people haven't got that around them. So having that from us, and not necessarily just us as trainers, but the community can be so powerful. And it's good to see that you've noticed that the people who are nearest to you have adopted some of those habits and some of those thought processes around just well-being.
Just gotta hook the daughter into it.
Yeah, it's always a difficult one though, isn't it, with that? Cool. So future aspirations, Dale. Like what sort of is driving you now moving forward? Where do you feel like you'd like to try and get to from a fitness perspective, from a weight perspective? Just another 12 months from now, where would you like to see yourself being?
Weight-wise, I'm pretty much sort of where I want to be. I don't think I particularly want to drop too much more weight. Yeah. Muscle mass, I want to drop the body fat a little bit more. Yeah. Body fat down, muscle mass up. Yeah. I think that's sort of like just a tweak on there. Yeah. If we can get 15% body fat next year, that'd be awesome. Yeah. That really would be awesome. That's going to take a bit doing, and increase the muscle mass a little bit more. We got testing. I'm testing today, which is just sort of, you mark sort of periods throughout the year. You're on this, and then you can see how many sort of, improvements you've made, how much you can lift, how fast you can row, and all of that on the rowing machines. Yeah. So you can sort of set sort of goals for yourself. But the big thing now I'm sort of looking at is you've got some awesome people in here. You've got Charlotte, ninth in the world at High Rocks. I mean, oh my God.
Incredible.
She's amazing, absolutely amazing. So I've signed up with one or two of the other members. We're going to be doing, I think in 2 weeks' time, we're doing an inflatable 5K run, which is what started me running. Can't do an inflatable 5K if you can't run. So you got to run. And then we're going to go do the Tough Mudder
in September,
Yeah. That looks awesome. Yeah, that is, yeah. So I think that, just getting more involved in things like that. Yeah. Keep the running going up so I can run further and a little bit faster and not have to stop at the hill so much. And just continue and be consistent really now. It's, build the weight up a little bit more, kind of sort of plateaued a little bit with how much I'm lifting and that. So I need to just tweak that a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like the world's opened up a little bit more now. There's all these things that sort of go on and events that go on that you couldn't dream of doing 12 months ago.
Yeah.
Because
I was going to ask you that actually. Like, if you think back, say a little bit longer, say 2 years ago or 18 months ago, and you said, oh, in the future you'll be doing a 10K mud run or whatever. Like what do you think that person would have said the Dale of 18 months ago?
To be fair, knowing me, I'd have probably said, yeah, it'd be fine. But you just wouldn't survive it.
Yeah.
You literally wouldn't survive it. When, your toolbox is probably, 12 kilos or something like that, and you can't walk up the stairs with it, you ain't doing a Tough Mudder in that condition. It's just not happening. And you can't sort of, it's hard to sort of get across to people the difference in how you feel, from not being able to breathe, walking up the stairs, waking up in aches and pains. Not saying I get aches and pains, I've gone a bit silly. To sort of like being able to get up and actually, you know what? I can run 5K. I can lift that weight. I can help my daughter move furniture or, whatever you need to do. Yeah, I can do that. That's not a problem. It's not going to cause me any sort of significant problems in doing things that a lot of people take for granted.
Yeah.
But as you're getting a little bit older, become harder and harder all the time. They really do. So you have to work at it. You have to sort of not stay in that sort of nice safe lane where sort of you're getting older and older and not sort of paying attention, which is what I was doing. You're just cruising along through life.
Time passes by quickly, doesn't it?
It really does. And you don't realise, and you think, there's loads of time for this, and I haven't got time for the gym, and I haven't got time for that, I haven't got time for the other. You just make the time.
Yeah.
You literally just make the time. There's things that you can, give up, like, don't spend 5 hours a day looking at social media or watching movies and go to the gym instead. It's that easy.
We've had that type of thing before, though. You see on I've seen other personal trainers and other gyms posting about that. If you want to see how much time you've got, go on your phone settings and view how much time you spend on the different apps, and then you'll see how much more time you actually have than you think you have.
It's surprising, yeah. You can literally blow hours just looking at Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram and all of that, and you just think, wow, okay, that's 3 hours gone. I could have done 3 sessions at the gym in that time.
Yeah, like just back to what we said about before, we didn't quite cover it. What does your weekly training look like? Like, what do you, like on a week-to-week basis? I know there's going to be some variation in that, but what's like an average week look like from a training perspective?
I mean, to be fair now, I do swap and change a little bit, sort of depending on what else is going on around, but I don't do mornings because I always start work early, but then I finish generally early as well. But yeah, I pop in sort of 3-4 times a week as an average now. Yeah. So at the moment I'm doing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then sometimes I do a Saturday morning, and you've just started the run club as well. It sounds like a lot. It's actually not. It's 45 minutes.
And it didn't start that much either, did it? This is you at 12 months in.
This is 12 months.
Where you're now in a position where you can recover well. Yeah. You've obviously connected very well with a lot of people around you. So that, but when you first started, if I remember right, you were probably doing three.
Three sessions a week generally.
And they were mostly strength.
Mostly the strength,
small group personal training.
All the small groups.
When did you first start doing any kind of classes and like higher intensity, like cardio classes and stuff?
God, that took me a while, to be fair. I did sort of like the 3 days live, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I think it was. Classic.
Yeah.
It's just, that's what you do, isn't it? I had at least sort of a month and a half to 2 months before I think it was like you go and do an endurance. Go upstairs, do the endurance. It's not that bad. Yeah. Don't worry about it. You'll fly through it. And the endurance is great. It's nice. It's low sort of
self-paced.
Yeah. And it's absolutely lovely. No problem. Tickle along with that. And then it took me about another month to step up to what used to be the sweat.
Yeah,
now it's
we call it just team training. Yeah. So for anyone who's listening who's not sure, so endurance for us is a designed to be a steady state cardiovascular session. It's not a session where you're working 10 out of 10, you're killing yourself. It's a session where you're working 7, 8 out of 10, a nice pace that you can stick with.
Yeah.
Challenging, but not too
yeah.
challenging. You should, in theory, be able to keep going. Obviously, then we have we used to call them sweat, we now just call them team training,
Teams.
which tend to be a little bit more higher intensity, more HIIT style training. And you'll do maybe one of those a week or possibly two if you do this
Friday or
session.
Saturday morning. Yeah. And to be fair, those are sort of one of my favourites now.
Yeah.
It is intense. It is sort of, you will sweat.
Yeah.
But the format of them is quite often is you're in, even though there's there could be 10 or 15 people in the room, you'll either be in pairs or in threes.
Yeah.
And you'll have a set of exercises that you share between you.
Yeah.
It does get a little bit competitive, but it's all friendly. There's no sort of sabotage or anything like that. But working with 2 or 3 other people, pushing each other. We had a session last Friday. It was absolutely awesome. There was only 4 of us there, and there were 2 pairs. And me and Steve Alton, who's become quite a good friend, we were sort of paired together, and we were doing through the exercises. We had a great time.
Yeah,
it's absolutely awesome. Put the exercise aside. It's just like being in the bar with the best mate. You just absolutely going for it. And we had absolutely awesome time. And you're getting fit with your mates. And they're excellent. We like those. Yeah, we're good at those. I mean, the only thing really is you got to say to people is like, you just need to try it. Yeah. You really do just need to try it.
Yeah. We tend to start people like that. We tend to start people because not always, but I'd say for a lot of clients who join us, they probably similar to yourself. They've not been exercising regularly. They're not coming to us saying, oh yeah, I go to the gym 5 days a week and I do HIIT classes or whatever. Like some people might do a bit of Pilates, dog walking. That's not everybody, but I would say, generally 8 out of 10 clients, 9 out of 10 clients who start with us are probably in a similar position. So they tend to focus, we tend to encourage them to focus on their small group personal training just to get back into exercise, start to feel better. They're able to move their body. They're able to do all the exercises. And then as the weeks go on, we'll kind of encourage them to start trying some of the other things that we do and the other session types. So that's a pretty normal
it is a good way
journey that you've been on with that.
It is a good way of doing it. It's obviously when you first start, obviously you're carrying I was carrying a lot of weight, fat, and if you try and sort of doing the sweat, and it's a lot harder to do it when you sort of, you got tons and tons of sort of fat getting off you, moving all of that, than it is when you've already started losing a bit of weight and gaining a bit of muscle. It becomes a lot the more you do it, the easier it gets, like everything.
Absolutely.
So it is good sort of like sort out your nutrition a little bit, get a little bit of strength built up, then go for the higher intensity ones. That sort of worked quite well.
Good.
Quite nice. No problems.
Excellent. Well, we've covered off a lot there, mate. So I feel like we've told the journey, I think, of yourself. And I mean, I think it's something you should be really proud of, mate, honestly. And that was one of the reasons we wanted to bring you on the podcast because, you're someone who's we've seen such a massive change. Like, you're like a different person. Like, your energy levels, your just confidence within the gym, just your whole mannerism, everything's just changed so positively. So I think it's been really, really cool. So you should be really proud of how well you've done.
I take very little credit for it. Honestly, it is all down to the trainers. Just do what you're told and you will get well.
I don't think you should be that modest, Dale. I don't think, mate, to be honest, because yes, we give you the support, the guidance, the coaching, but you've been the one to implement. You've been the one who's turned up 3-4 times a week, every week. You've been the one who's made those changes. The nutrition is particularly that because we'll often say to people, getting into the gym is like the easy bit often. The stuff that goes on outside, the other 23 hours of a day that you're not at the gym is probably, I don't want to say more or less important, but like for weight loss especially, like the hour in the gym is nothing in comparison to what you're doing in the other 23 hours. So I wouldn't be as modest, mate. You've done brilliantly well. You've completely changed I view it as a bit of an identity shift, really, from someone who didn't look after their health and fitness, who didn't prioritize that, didn't value that, or didn't really put or commitment behind it, to someone who now, it's clearly a really important part of your life. It's something that you've really found benefit in improving. So.
It is, yeah. It's you do have to put the effort in. But when you've got a supportive group, and when you've got trainers who actually, they know what they're talking about, and if you've got a question, you can go ask them, and you'll get an answer that's a decent answer, and it's not sort of, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's like, try doing this, try doing that, and you've got options. It makes it a lot easier. It really does. And turning up to the gym is not a hardship. It's the hardship is when you don't turn. There are occasions when I have been told that you're here too much. It's a nice place to be. You've got friendly, warm people that you can chat to, not just about gym stuff, but about anything generally in life. Why would you not want to sort of be here? But yeah, I think there are a lot of sort of people out there who don't sort of have the opportunity to do it, basically because, like me, they didn't know that the places like this exist, that you can come, be welcomed, get fit, get good advice, and actually enjoy it and meet sort of people who are good with you. And
maybe don't appreciate just how positive an effect it will have if you get to those outcomes and if you start to feel those differences. I think sometimes people are they don't realise how much better life can be when they're fitter, healthier. They weigh less, they've got more energy, they've got more motivation, more positive.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be there's a bit of ignorance there. I don't know what the other side looks like, but the fact that you found that is...
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you said, Sunday morning we're on sort of a little run, and you see, what could be better, Sunday morning, beautiful day, trotting through the countryside with a group of, nice people you can chat to about sort of, anything and everything. You say, what's not to like?
Yeah.
What is not to like?
But we discussed how some people would view us as absolute madmen for doing that. I mean, it wasn't early, honestly.
It wasn't early, no.
Anyway, last question I've got for you, mate. Just as a general summary, what would be your advice to someone who's maybe in a position that you were in 12 or so months ago in terms of, well, we've discussed that today, where you were at, overweight, not feeling good about your health and fitness, poor energy levels, all those other things, unhappy in some ways, potentially. What would be your message to that person sat here now, 12 months on, having felt all those benefits and all those differences?
This is that easy one. I saw a meme about it. It was like, literally, if you find yourself in that, if you have that sort of moment where you think like, oh, is this my life? Is this how I'm going now? Just stop. Just stop. Take half an hour, think to yourself, right, do I want to be going down this road, which, is not going to be healthy? Things aren't going to be good if you continue down the road. My parents have both had strokes and this, that, the other. It's not going to get better unless you actually just stop and change where you're going. And you can. It's not, I think it's really, really difficult. It's not that difficult. It's actually really not that difficult. I've done it. You have that moment, you think like, no, I am not where I want to be in my life. I want my life to be this, not this. So just stop, reach out to, people like yourself or similar people, and just think, what do you think I can do? And just do it. Just literally do it. You might get some resistance of people who are used to being one way, but, stick with it, be stubborn, like me. just stop. If you're not happy, stop and just change. You've got one life. You've got to do it.
Excellent, mate. I'm going to shake your hand there. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you very much.